Howdy peeps, I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. We are on this backside up here today of the property. Get into some big old hand cut. Look at that big old sycamore whop. Get into some big old hand cut and hand trimming trees. White oak. It wasn't real big, but it's big enough. It was a money tree, and I didn't want to get Brutus down there in this sandy hillside to get it. We got some black oaks we cut. There's a couple of them here, and then a big boy here to cut next. And I ended up having to push it with Brutus. And then we get up on top of the hill above that and cut some big old poplar down. And then ended up on the back part of the property after the big poplar and hand bucked this big cottonwood for Werners. And but anyways, I just wanted to knock this all out at once. I hope y'all like this video. Just a lot of big wood getting cut into size. Howdy everybody, and thanks for tuning in. This is we got a pretty good show for you today. I had a few clips when we got to the backside of this property. There was a few clips that was odd clips that I wanted to put into kind of a package. Now this video takes place over about a 2-day span, and it's all the big trees, No, it wasn't actually all of them. It's most of them, though, of the big hand-cut whoppers I got into in this 2-day span. Two of the days that we got into on the back of this property. One of them's this big sycamore down here in the bottom. Now, those of you not familiar with sycamore likes growing in the bottoms. That's where sycamore likes it. They like running water. They don't like stagnant water. They don't like water that can't get out somewhere. Oh, you know, like a place where cottonwood and gum could coexist together. If you know a place like that I'm talking about. Where cottonwood and gum kind of can exist together. That's kind of a stagnant water style area. Now, usually it can outperform a sycamore when it's like that. Now, all three species can grow in the same areas. Cottonwood could have grown down here in this area with us too. But sycamores like ground that's got more turbulent type of moving water when it's not stagnant. Now, the situation I'm in here, I'm cutting 10-foot logs off these things. I got to talking to Pooh. We was cutting 8s because I had to quarter a bunch of them. But Pooh's been sawing them, barrel sawing them down. That's when you kind of flip, cut, instead of going 90 degrees from each face when you're making a cant. When you're sawing this, you kind of go like a 45. And you kind of make wane in the board. It's a long story. I don't want to get into that. Basically, barrel saw it down. And so Pooh said, quit making them 8 foot because he said, I get that big log up there. He said, I'll take a chance on getting a log down in the knees, the head block, the carriage. Okay, the problem with the carriage is, say the head blocks are 6-foot centers, and you're flipping an 8-foot log with a log turner, you can flop it around and get it down inside the working area of your carriage, the part on the carriage on the sawmill, and that can be trouble. So to try to head that off, we're making 10-foot logs. Watch this thing splat here in a second. To combat that, we're making 10-foot logs to kind of help Pooh out on that. And it's all low grade. Sycamore's low grade. There's nothing, it's not an expensive tree by any stretch of the imagination. Now, some people can quarter saw a big log like this and get something out of it, but that's kind of a niche market. That's not a, a potent market. Or high volume market, I'd like to say. Now, Roger's skidding these up out of here with the Junkyard's green skidder. Stevie will not be down in here at the den. He will stay up on the hill. Roger's packing them to him, and he's cutting up for Tiny. We're a good way, not a long ways, but we're a good ways back from the boom. And they are tinying all this wood out. So I've kind of got a fend for myself, clean everything up enough to where it won't beat the woods up when Roger skids it around. And down here in this sandy hole down here, everything's sandy on this property. I'm trying to make situations where the skidder's not jacking the rear end down real bad and spinning. I can't even pick that one up. I'd probably pick this one here up though. Barely if I can. Boy, this job's got some big boys on it. Holding that one somewhere. Come on. Alright, so what we're doing here is we jumped on the other side. The power line's right up there in the open. See that light coming in over there? So we're down. We got to cut this white oak. This white oak's over here by itself. And what I'm going to do is skid it out from the other bank over there because there's a lot of wood over there. You know, I'm looking for a place where there's concentration of wood where I know I got to be there at the machine. I don't want the machines going anywhere it don't need to on this property because it is so sandy. It is so easy to make a mess. So, planning your work and then working your plan is kind of key. Now, this is white oak. It's more expensive wood, so it's kind of worth whatever aggravation it puts up, probably for the most part. But I mean, it's off by itself. It's one of them deals you're gonna earn it. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? Because even though I drop it over on that other side, look how soft that is. That's going into a pond down there, a lake down there. Look at that sediment down there. See how soft and moist and wet that looks? It is just as bad as it looks. You probably can't walk across that. As a matter of fact, I know you can't walk across that. You'd be up to your hips. So, I'm going to cross the valley with this, right or wrong. Because hindsight being 2020, I don't know if this is right or wrong. I think we actually made a mistake by getting it from the other bank over there later on. I don't even know if I got that recorded. Because it was a fiasco pulling this big heavy thing out the other side. It wasn't just a piece of cake by any means. And it's leaning, it's favoring to where I'm standing right now. It favors that way, out towards that opening. Even though that's the south end, or the north end, it's the closest to the sun, so it's favoring that way. And there I kind of peeling the moss off the tree because moss is hard on your cutter. Your cutter. Your daggone. What's that thing cutting? It ain't a cutter. That's a chainsaw. It's hard on your chainsaw. That because of the grit, sandy stuff, and that moss, it don't do your saw any good. Now I'm getting my hinges down as I go. I think this was a fat hinge on this tree. I punch the center out a lot with the back blade side of the saw when I come around. I don't know if I've done it this tree or not, but that's my normal habits. Always has been. That's kind of how it cut.
Y'all ready? You ready for this?
But this one, I don't know. It's taken me a while.
Right there. Cross your fingers.
It's taken me a while to get back in the groove.
Real tight.
This is black oak over here. I'm going to try to keep it up on the hillside more. I'm going to...
Mind to rub that tree pretty hard.
Now, when you get two big trees like these two, growed right side by side, it's real easy to judge where they're going to go away from each other. Because they split the sunlight their whole career, their whole life. You know, one tree's going to favor opposite the other one. That's just how they do. It don't matter what species of trees you got. That's what it's going to do. Now we're cutting this big boy, and this in here is a big boy. I promise you. Now that's another black oak, and I'm putting a Humboldt. I'm not the best Humboldt cutter. I can cut them. I can pull them off. I can get them to do what I want them to do, but I'm terrible making Humboldt notch. I'm not, like a Westerner can pop right through one of these probably, and I can't. I'm not used to it. I have a little trouble meeting them up with my saw. Meeting my cuts up. Now, those of you that's not heard me explain before, my thoughts on Humboldt notch is one of the main things I love about Humboldt notch with our type of cutting. And it only works on certain species. You can't just pull it off on any species. But on red oak, poplar, gums and stuff like that, anything. Now what that does, you see how it leans forward as that tree falls, it's going to stay in front of that stump. With Brutus back there and that being on the downhill side, putting that Humboldt in there, so when the tree falls, you know where it's going to be in front of the stump, no matter what. Oh, and as I was saying a minute ago, you got to watch in hardwood. You got to watch what you're going to put a Humboldt in. And you can't just go slapping in a daggone. You can't go to a hickory tree and slap a Humboldt in it and expect it to work out good. Because you're going to end up with your head half knocked off when it busts open. But something like this black oak, it's real forgiving. Poplar's real forgiving. Maple can be real forgiving. But I don't know if that isn't a loaded question. When you screw up and you leave too fat a hinge, you're taking a chance on it slabbing off on you. Because a normal hardwood cutting, you do an open face or a wide open cut to where the tree falls plenty of distance before the faces meet up and it breaks it off the stump. The farther the tree falls before it locks up and breaks off the stump, the better off you are, because it'll break them, bend them fibers to where there's hardly anything holding when the two faces meet.
Tree, you're going up there whether you like it or not.
All I know, he was in the car alone and got cut up and put on the truck. I'm not going on the truck, you can take it back down. Take it back to
Beautiful lake. Beautiful lake.
Now what we got here is a big old poplar coming from up on top of the hill. Actually not far from that red oak we just cut. I didn't get the tree cutting it down or whatever, but I did get bucking up, and I thought there's a neat little shot I wanted to get on here when it yanked me down to the ground. But it goes into a crotch, and I just back down below the crotch, take the double heart out of it, the majority of the double heart, and whack it right there. So I'm basically taking one big tree and making 3 small trees out of it. Well, not small trees. 3 big trees out of one huge tree. I'd say our skidder'd have to pull on the flat ground up here. I'd say skidder could do it in 2 drags. But if it was through adverse conditions, I'd say skidder'd have to have 3 drags to get this tree out. See how it yanked me down?
Trying to make their road down there over that hillside. I need Robin to come here and try to pinch this thing. You ever miss? Happens to me. I think you can get the rest of that. See, the idea, thing is, you don't want to spend too much time wasted cleaning around on stuff, because you got to keep your hot saw buzzing, because you got a whole crew waiting on us. that's a lot of things. People gets on me from time to time for being sloppy at times and this, that, and the other. Or making a mess or not lining up drags. I'm like, you need to be here. You need to be here to see how the flow goes. You got to see where the weak spots are, where the bottlenecks are. One crew may be able to line up every drag just perfect and do everything just perfect, and the flow just flows smooth. You get a situation like these that we're in, it's hard to make it smooth. You just kind of go for the weakness and work on your weak spots and keep it rolling.
Now we're on the back of the property on the far north line, and we got in this big cottonwood that I'm trying to cut up for Werner's because we don't saw the cottonwood back here at the mill. We got our pallet wood goes through a hog, and I guess this cottonwood is the kryptonite to that hog. So we basically it's just pallet wood anyways, and we go ahead and sell it to Werner's because they can make good use out of it, and they got a chipper to send the cottonwood through instead of a hog. It's not quite as big as it's about as big as that poplar tree I'd cut, last tree I'd cut here on here. But no, it's probably a hair bigger, actually. There's a good shot. I wanted to get that. And here I am taping them off to get that one. That's going to be the last log I hand cut off of this thing. You gotta love pudding. Pudding's a daggone beast. I love that thing. It might be slowing down just a little bit on me, getting a hair tired, but I don't think so. This saw's been a good saw for me for a long time.
What the length of these are, and he said
stay on there.
He said it's 10.8. Well,
You gonna turn me over if I'm around the corner here.
I cut him at 10.4, so I'm sorry, Luke. I'll get him 10.8 next time. So then I told Stevie
Push him back in there now.
and Dad and them out there that
There you go. You got about 8-10 inches hanging above the headboard.
the cottonwood logs are to be 10.8, and Stevie said 10.4. And I informed him that no, it's 10.8. It's not 10.4, Stevie, it's 10.8. They, so from now on, when you answer the CB, it's 10.8. That's a big 10.8. Hey, technically, yes, that's a big 10.8.
We were tired of rubbing together, backing up. Yeah, well, I know it is.
Son of a biscuit. Thanks, guys, for watching. One thing I wanted to say is everybody out there, do be safe. Please. We all got to go home at the end of the night. There's other people relying on us, and let's not forget that. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
Hey guys and gals, don't forget to go to logyourway.com for all your log your way gear. Thanks. How much you pay me to say that?
Man, how much you gonna give?